Hello recorders, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host Steven. Well, first of all, thank you so much for the birthday wishes yesterday. Your kind words mean so much to me. I am very touched. Now, some of you guys probably know this story and some of you do not. Like, I have not really talked about this story so often ever since my YouTube channel picked up, but let's go back 5 years ago, 2016, back when I was 23. I was a junior in college. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. At the time, I only met one ranger, Jason David Frank. I didn't even have my channel's name, It's Recording Time Media, or even said my catchphrase, It's Recording Time! Like, none of that. I probably only had like 30 subscribers or something like that, where I have no recollection. Here's how the story begins. Like, it started July 2016, where I donated $2,000 to be a part of The Order. You know, you remember that movie the Power Rangers were trying to do, which it never happened, which I'll do another story about that, but that part was sort of a key factor to this story where I wanted to meet the Rangers so badly. Like, I wanted to like introduce myself to let them know that I was going to be a part of this project. And then it came to at the very last minute, I heard of this convention that was going on in my hometown, San Jose, Heroes and Villains Fan Fest. Like, I have never once heard of it. Like, this was the time where I've only gone to 2 conventions, and this would have been my 3rd one. So I ended up buying a ticket because I wanted to see Stephen Amell and the rest of the Aerocast that were there, and it seemed like a really good idea. My time at this con was one of the high points of my career before I even started, where I actually filmed the panels there. Like, this was my first time filming a whole bunch of panels, and I was thinking, what am I going to do with them? So I just started putting them on YouTube. On that Sunday, it came to the Guardians of the Galaxy panel featuring Sean Gunn, Michael Rooker, and Greg Henry. And halfway through the panel, Rooker, he got off his seat and he called someone on the phone. And then he said he was calling James Gunn.
Say hello to James Gunn. How many times I gotta do this to you? You know, you gotta remember, never answer my calls. Never answer my calls. Say hello to your little brother.
Hey, dude, how's it going? Rooker's holding the microphone up to the wrong part of the phone.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Rooker hasn't figured out the technology of phones yet. His people use the telegraph.
Oh my god, that part was so funny. And Rooker, he's just fucking amazing. Just fucking amazing. So I uploaded all the videos, but for that one particular moment, I put as a separate clip on my YouTube page. And then a few days later, I looked at the views for these videos, like these panels, they were actually going up. And like, I was like just surprised because I've like struggled to make videos at the time where I'm gonna get like 5, 10 views only, but I was very impressed. Looking at the clip of Rooker calling Gunn, one comment that got my attention was someone saying that James Gunn shared the video on his Facebook page. And then I quickly went on his Facebook page and I was like, oh my fucking god, like, oh my god. I was like reading it saying that he saw the video, all of it shaky glory, which become a signature trait on my channel. But still, I was like fucking mind blown. Like, I actually remember where I was that day when I read it. Me and my dad, we were at El Pollo Loco. That was like just a high point in my life. I was like, I couldn't believe that an actual person, a director, like shared a video I made, and I was like, oh my god, I was like so excited. Man, after that moment, I sort of bragged a little bit about that moment to people, like saying like, hey, so-and-so shared my video. Like, to me, it was a sign. Later in the fall, where I actually went up to Sacramento to attend this convention to meet David Yost, Billy, the original Blue Power Ranger, and it was the first time I was meeting him, and I was telling him about how I donated $2,000 for the order, and he was like I remember he commented on my Instagram, he's saying that, wow, looking forward to working with you, and I was like really cool to meet him that day. Here's the thing I totally was not expecting. I was going on Instagram posting photos of the con, and then here it comes. I go to James Gunn's page and I noticed that he's on a plane coming to San Jose. And I was, what's he coming to my hometown for? So I did some research and he's attending a film festival and I bought tickets to that. I was like, come on. And then later in the evening, I go to in line for his panel and I see, you know, some people lined up and I see a couple of cosplays, which damn, I wish I recorded that moment. And here's an ironic thing. While I was there, I actually saw this teacher from my junior college, and I was not expecting to see him too. Here comes James Gunn. Here's some never-before-seen footage of that moment.
How are you guys doing? Good. I'm going to interview Frosty about technology and whether he knows how to use an iPhone. That's cool! I was really excited. I'm like, oh God. So as a kid, I started making, short films when I was 11 years old. My brother Sean, who's in a lot of my movies, including a pretty sizable role in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I used to mutilate him on screen. We were like 12 years old. I would read Cinefantastique and learn how to make blood and 2 days I worked on that movie, and I run a 1A, what do you call it? Media show. It had to be a long time ago, man.
Super.
Super?
It was before Super.
Was it during Slither or Super?
It was going to be Super.
Yeah.
Hold on a second, I'm getting this. I think that's pretty good. Interviews, and then I had technology issues where it got erased. And that was the lesson. It was at that moment, this is actually applicable for any journalist out there, that I started recording everything with 2 things. I have audio, like when I do video interviews now, I also
Direct movies, and I think that I didn't do it because various reasons, and I think that was a mistake at the time. Yeah.
There we go. Jumping right on in, I want to go backwards. And so when did you first realize that you wanted to be a director or a writer? Or was it?
But I just always wrote. I played in bands for a long time, and I just was always, I guess, in storytelling of one form or another.
So do you think that it was comic books as a kid? What was the medium that you gravitated towards as a young age that kind of, infused your sensibility?
Well, I think I went through phases. I think the first, I always loved movies as a kid. I mean, even 3 and 4 years old, my brothers and my sister and I would get so excited to be able to go to see the new Disney movie, whatever that is. One of the first movies I ever remember seeing is The Strongest Man in the World, starring Kurt Russell, which is pretty cool. That was my favorite movie when I was a little kid, and now he's in Guardians of the Galaxy. So we were always very excited about movies, and then I fell in love with comic books, just completely was a fanatic about comics, both Marvel and DC, and I spent all my time reading comic books. My dad bought me a huge comic book collection from this guy for very little money, so I had every single Avengers from number 4 on, every single Spider-Man from number 4 on, every single Fantastic Four from number 9 on, and I didn't go to school, I just read comics.
By the way, it worked out.
And then I think, yeah, it worked out okay. And then I think, I started falling in love with movies with Steven Spielberg and getting into the, Empire Strikes Back and things like that, where I started to really think about, how passionate I was about filmmaking, and I think also seeing movies like Friday the 13th and, Night of the Living Dead, movies that I really loved, or some of My Bloody Valentine. Some of these movies I didn't love as much as I was excited by them because they seemed like something I could almost do, which Raiders of the Lost Ark didn't seem like. So when I first started making movies, I started making a horror film.
If I'm not mistaken, you were doing Super 8 movies with your family.
Right, yeah, Super 8 movies when I was like 11, 12 years old. Yeah.
So when was the last time you watched those, and what were they about?
Well, let's see. Like I said, the first one I ever made was a movie that was a zombie film with my brother getting torn up. That was basically the premise. That was the entire story. My one brother tearing apart and eating my other brother. And it's a good story.
By the way, what did you use for effects back then? Was it ketchup?
No. I mixed Karo syrup with,
You went really?
Dude, I was into it. Yeah, I was
okay.
reading February and isn't it fantastic? And to watch all the short films before coming up here. It's great to see people out there who are trying to continue the tradition of cinema and to be able to do it in such exemplary ways with so much heart and from all over the world. And I love to be a part of that. And I really believe that one of the things that we have to do as we go about our careers is to remember where we came from, what we did, and share that and pass that along. So I'm excited to be here and be a part of this thing.
That's exactly what we're about. We're about having filmmakers here and trying to work for them and make it something exciting. But you know what? I just listened to what you said about people coming in and giving you notes and doing things. I'm leaving because guess what? We're going to finish this conversation with Frosty.
Great.
So thank you so much, and thank you for being part of this again.
Thank you so much.
When his panel was over, I wanted to just go up and shake the guy's hand, and he said that he was gonna be at a after party bar I go to the after party, and then he was like taking his time greeting people. And then when it came to me, I told him, Mr. Gunn, I made that video of Michael Rooker calling you on the phone. And he said, oh, really? Which one? He does that all the time. And I showed him the clip, and I asked him, well, how'd you come across my video? And he said, oh, he just, looks up videos of his cast members every now and then to make sure they're not spoiling shit. Talk for a bit. I was actually asking him some advice as a director, and he gave me some solid advice. Especially one of the strongest strengths you can have as a filmmaker is your writing. Like in this panel, he talked mostly about the strongest strengths of being a screenwriter. That as hard and competitive as the business is, just never give up and always work hard. There you go, recorders. That is my story of how James Gunn helped launch my YouTube channel. And one of the reasons, if I ever become a huge YouTuber, I promise you, I will do the exact same thing he did for me. Just sharing people's content, and just sharing is caring. Even though I hate that fucking phrase, it's nice to share, and I am eternally grateful for that moment. It's just like an example of me just being me and not being someone else. And thank you, Gunn, for everything you've done to me, and especially Rooker. And Michael Rooker, I actually met up with him at a con a couple years later, and I showed him that video, and he actually remembers it. And here's the funny thing, my voice was really hoarse that day, so I almost sounded identical to him, and I told him this, I'm sorry, I lost my voice. I'm not trying to do an impression of you. On a final note, recorders, anything is possible, and I'm hoping my story inspires you to, follow your dreams and just never give up in life. Just never do. Thank you for tuning in, recorders. Please hit that subscribe button, comment down below, give me a like, and catch you next time.
Wait, so this is, pardon me for not knowing. I love cats. So this is a social media star cat?
Yes, you are.
Oh wait, I'm gonna do which one first? I'll do a picture.
Let's get over there first.
I think it's useless. I mean, it's interesting. It's like how many species. Alright, I'm gonna
Cheers, bro. Thanks.